Hey guys, welcome back. This is my top 5 things you should have written down when you are property managing. If you have not already, please smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification. That way you are the first to get these videos as soon as they come out. Now, for my number 1, have a screening criteria. Make sure you are not discriminating. Make sure you're checking all your protected classes so you don't want to get in trouble on this one. Guys, take that part very serious. But by writing down your criteria and who you're looking for that particular apartment, it can save you a lot of trouble. A lot of landlords go by gut feelings, which is great, especially if they're good and they have experience. But the problem is this: when the time comes for you to move on, you don't want to trust someone else going by their gut feeling, because this can spell out a lot of trouble for you, especially if their gut feeling is a little bit prejudiced or something like that. Number 2, have an application. Now, I know a lot of people know about application, but you don't know how many landlords who do not even have an application. Many landlords don't, especially small-time landlords. They'll just ask a couple questions again and go for that. But if you want to grow out of that job one day, then you definitely want to have an application. That way that everyone who works for you will also do the same thing. Now, the good thing about having an application is this: when you are done with the interview, you have this piece of paper, this document where the person wrote stuff. I cannot tell you how many times I looked at an application and everything on the application was different than everything the person said. It was kind of like when the person was talking, they would say one thing, they would say how much they get, how much they make, but the minute they had to write it down, it changed. The amount got less, or sometimes they lied on the application. But later on, we were able to look at it. When we started verifying information, we used the applications to check back and see what the person said and what the person wrote, not what they said. So make sure you have an application. Another benefit to have an application is over time, you will be able to use the applications to see trends, to see similarities. Basically, you're using this as your analysis. You get to see who is the best candidates for these types of apartments. You might find that people who get this particular program assistance is perfect for this area or often stay longer in the apartment. Or you might find that people who work here somehow often stay in these apartments, and you can use the application as part of your process. Number 3, have a contractors list. Having a contractors list is very important. Sometimes you can call them the vendors list, but here's the thing. You need to have a couple of heating guys, at least 5 heating guys on your list, 5 electricians, 5 plumbers, 5 drain sewer cleaning companies. Reason you need to have all this is because there will be the time where you will need to call someone, and you need to have at least 5 guys you can call. So if a few are not there, then you can at least have a few more to call. Now, another person on this list is a person who can do inspections for you. This person doesn't even have to be really a contractor, but I called him a contractor in this, or a vendor or something like that, because having that person, at least 5 different people that you can call to go check on something for you, can make a big difference. Many times tenants will call and they just want someone to come by and feel like they're really looking at it. Have a person that can go out there. Number 4. All right. Number 4 is have a Priceless. This could be the game changer. We think of rentals as a place where we rent out a space. Well, what if I told you that you can be a little bit more? You can be a contractor. You can be like a department store. You could even be like a handyman company. Well, hear me out. Let me explain. You see, when I first started out, I used to feel that, okay, you know what? I got the apartment, I fixed it up, everything's great. And then I give it to the tenants and I said, here you go. You know where to send the check. Well, the problem that came in is this. Over time, tenants would break something. And sometimes they wouldn't even tell me at all. And then when they move, that's when I find out that so many items is broken. And it can go over what the security is. And then I have to sit there and try to figure out, should I take them to court for another $200 of items? So a lot of times I'll just take the loss. Now, when I get a call from the tenants, I would feel like, man, these people are destroying my place. And then I just felt so annoyed. What I didn't think about it, we're running a business. So when we go there, we're providing a service. You have to add the cost of the product to install it and a profit, a markup, because that's the profit that your business is going to make. What I first started seeing was an annoyance. I started seeing it's just part of business. It's just like if I had called a contractor, they would charge me for the item, their time, and then their profit, right? Well, that's exactly what we're doing here. Now, there's a lot of benefits to both tenant and landlord or owner. One benefit to the tenant is this. They have this list. They can compare your prices to maybe another contractor. Maybe they will now hire another contractor because they know that they will get a better price, or they can do it with your approval. They can ask, hey, look, I can get this window fixed, or I have experience to fix this window. Can I do it myself? And then you can probably say, sure. But at least they'll have that list to compare, or they will have that list to say, you know what? I know how much it's going to cost. You guys do it. But that's a comfort. That's a service. That can make that tenant feel way more comfortable. Now, another thing too that it can also do is sometimes tenants will just neglect the thing because they are afraid they don't know what it costs. Some tenants will be more careful because now they know that they are responsible to fix whatever it is in that apartment. They will have a list of all the items. I cannot tell you how many times a tenant will call and thinking that if their kids drop stuff in the toilet, the plumber cost is part of their rentals. But so this can actually make tenants know, look at all these items. This is how much it costs. And another benefit, which there's a lot of benefits to this list, is this. If this thing ends up in court and the tenant said, I don't know why I had to pay that much, you have this in writing. You should have your tenant sign this Priceless, initial it, when you're actually signing your rental agreement. This way, there's no questions. You should also probably put on that agreement that if prices change, you will give them an updated price because prices do change. Number 5, have a item/materials list that you use in your apartment. This is very, very convenient. Having a list of all the items you use, in other words, things like the doorknobs you use, the carpets you use, the paint you use on the walls. Now, having this list is great because you will be able to call your workers and say, listen, it's time to paint over. One, all your workers, if you have workers, they will all know the colors that you're using. Or if you're doing it yourself, you don't have to sit there and guesswork. You don't want to walk into an apartment each time and become a designer like you're designing the house. That's TV. No one does that. Most landlords will paint the same colors over and over. Most landlords will use the same floor over and over in each apartment. This way, it's consistent. If you have extra material, you can still use it in another apartment. Well, guys, there you have it. That was my top 5 things you should have written down when you are property managing. So, hey, if you can, please help me out. Subscribe, turn on that notification, like, share, and comment below if you have some stuff that you like to add. So, let's have a conversation. 5.